welcome, guys, to another episode of Sports with Sunshine, powered by the Sports Lounge Media. I appreciate you guys for coming out, and I want to say a quick shout out to our sponsors, the Mogul brand, as well as the Diamond Collection, for powering the Sports Lounge Media. And of course, thank you to the Sports Lounge Media, the place to get your sports media on the internet, for powering Sports with Sunshine. Guys, we've got a lot to dive into tonight. As you know, usually on Mondays, we make sure to take care of our birds. Guys, welcome in the chat. Appreciate everyone for coming in. We got some new overlays to test out, some new things to do. So, hey, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Guys, as we know, off-season camp has been very competitive in terms of what the secondary looks like for the Philadelphia Eagles. And tonight, I think we need to answer a few of those questions, right, about what are the expectations of this defense for the Philadelphia Eagles coming into 2025. And in my opinion, it starts in the secondary, right? I think that, with the departure of C.J. Gardner-Johnson, obviously you lose a key leader there, and not to mention Darius Slay, who was invaluable to the teachings of Cooper DeJean and Cooper DeJean. And now, you replace those guys. Q is going to get some time out on the boundary. Cooper has been practicing on the inside. He's been practicing on the outside. He's been on the boundary as well as the slot guys. And safety is kind of up in the air right now. Obviously, Reed Blankenship is going to take on a role in the secondary that leads us to believe he's going to be a leader. But when you look at that other position where C.J. Gardner-Johnson was, it's kind of blank right now, right? You got Andrew Mukuba, Sidney Brown, kind of vying for that spot. And everything we've been told from camp is that Sidney Brown has been in a dogfight with Andrew Mukuba. And that's not a bad thing if you're an Eagles fan, guys. It tells us that Mukuba has been very competitive in camp, which is a good thing, because if not, Vic Fangio would not have given him those 1 reps that he's been giving him, right? I think that Andrew Mukuba really is going to shine for this Philadelphia Eagles team. I think he has a real opportunity to get starting snaps at that safety position, but don't count out Sidney Brown just yet. I think that Sidney Brown definitely needs to make a very hard push in training camp of the fall if he really wants to secure that spot, because if not, Andrew Mukuba is going to get those starting reps, because Vic Fangio has already shown us he will play who's ready to play at that position, judging by what he did after the bye week when Cooper DeJean was entered into the starting lineup. So as it goes for the Philadelphia Eagles secondary, safety is obviously a toss-up, but also the second boundary corner is a place where the Philadelphia Eagles kind of need, a little bit of clarity. Obviously, Q is going to play in that first boundary corner spot. He's going to be the number 1, and he's going to have a lot tested on him in this upcoming season. But what about the boundary corner, guys? We're not in nickel all the time. I understand that Vic Fangio run defenses are very nickel heavy, which, has Cooper in the slot. It had Slay out on the edge, and then it had Q at the 2. But with Slay gone, right, that's going to put Q at the 1. The 2 right now is kind of up for grabs, and then that nickel area is where we want to see Cooper DeJean. Although Vic Fangio has said that Cooper DeJean has been spending time at that second boundary spot as well as safety, which leads me to believe that Cooper DeJean is really picking up this Fangio offense, because Vic Fangio is not going to put a young guy like that in there and just kind of throw him unless he's prepared. So very big hats off to Cooper DeJean as he's really starting, I think, to get it down for Vic Fangio. But that still leads us to believe that when we are in base, who is going to be that second corner? Is it going to be Adoree Jackson? Will Kelee Ringo finally earn his place amongst the starting Georgia Dogs? There's so many questions in that second boundary corner spot, and we already have some CJ Gardner-Love from the Mogul podcast. I agree, CJ was that guy, and we've got some love for Kelee Ringo. Down South believes in Kelee Ringo, and I'm not going to lie, I do too. I think this is the year we finally see Kelee Ringo take that step, because by all accounts, he's been absolutely killing it at minicamp. So he's got to have a strong camp, and I think he can lock up that cornerback 2 spot, right? And outside of that, you still have Eli Ricks vying for snaps over there. Now, I don't necessarily believe that he is going to earn that starting spot. I really do think it's Kelee Ringo's to lose. It's still something to keep an eye on. And then obviously the slot corner is Cooper DeJean's spot, along with Mac McWilliams, who we drafted, who I think will get some reps there. And I do believe Adoree Jackson has also gotten reps in the slot. So guys, when it comes to the secondary, I think that there are a lot of question marks. We have a lot of expectations. A year ago, this was the #1 pass defense in football. It's really hard for us to say, well, how can you be better when you were already #1? But when I look at it, and I think the chat will agree with me, there's a lot of opportunity for young guys to earn their mark here. Okay. Very exciting stuff. But outside of the secondary, there are areas where this defense can be better. Now, while there were no real weaknesses to this defense, there was a spot, there was an area that I felt like we could have gotten better in. Okay. And that area being run defense, closing the gap, right? 10th in rushing yards allowed, 9th in rushing yards per. Now, while top 10 run defense, I'll take that. I mean, it's not the Commanders who are sitting at 28, 26, right? But it is an area I do believe that we can clean up. And when you're trying to go back to back as champions, I guarantee you Vic Fangio is playing the film where guys were getting beat in the run games and keeping gap lane integrity, right? We need to see more out of Jordan Davis. This is a very big year for big baby Jordan Davis. This is a contract year for him, essentially. I do think we will also see Ty Robinson be entered into the lineup where he will get some snaps. He's not just a pass rusher. While he was in college, he was very, very, very good at keeping his lane integrity and closing off gaps. Jalen Hunt is another guy that I look for to take a big step on this defensive line, but not even to mention the defensive line. Talk about the linebacking core. With Nick Kobe Dean out, the run defense, these guys are going to have to learn on the go, right? You got Smalton from Georgia and Trotter Jr. that are right now learning from our man Zach Bond, and they have some big shoes to fill. They have a really big fall camp coming up, right, where they need to kind of clean up their run defense. Now, in terms of tackling, the Eagles were one of the best tackling teams a year ago, but that can always be cleaned up. But when we look at the run defense, I think that in particular, I'm looking at improvements from Jordan Davis. I want Jordan Davis to remain the giant monster he is inside. And I want, I want Ty Robinson to come along very quickly, right? I want him to make his mark early. That way we can show teams that not only are you not going to be able to throw the football on us, you're not going to be able to run the football on this team either. Imani Bentley in the chat says, go Birds. Welcome to the chat, guys. If you are new here, this is the place to get your NFL as well as Eagles content. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. I want to say a quick shout out to our sponsors, the Mogul brand, as well as the Diamond Collection. And guys, if you need any of this information, you can find it on YouTube at Sports Lounge or on YouTube at Sports with Sunshine or at www.sportsloungemedia.com, where you can find all of our great shows. But back to the run defense. The linebackers have a lot of work to do. Obviously, the corners need to work on it, but Jordan Davis and Ty Robinson kind of being the focal point, right? But the run defense isn't the only thing the Eagles have to clean up, okay? Offensively, this football team was incredible a year ago at running the football. Obviously, that's apparent by the fact that Saquon Barkley finished the year with more rushing yards than a running back has ever had in the regular season and postseason combined, right? Well, there are still some areas where it can be improved. And specifically, you guys already know we're going to have to talk about the passing game, okay? 29th in yards, total yards passing, 32nd in the NFL in pass attempts. Now, while I'm not here to say that you can't win big games and championships by just running the football, we literally showed that you can do that you can minimize your throwing attempts as long as you have an impressive run game. That is not set for success repeatedly, if that makes sense. It's not going to be a consistent factor because Saquon Barkley cannot touch the football 345 times a year in and year out, right? Not when you have guys like A.J. Brown, okay? He's a 1K receiver. He's been a 1,000-yard receiver every year he's been in Philadelphia. You got Devontae Smith, who has had 2 1,000-yard seasons. When you have guys like that on the pine, there is absolutely zero reason we should be 29th in passing yards. And I get it. I understand we didn't necessarily need it. It wasn't what the offense was calling for, but it's going to have to improve in 2025 because what the Chiefs did in the Super Bowl, a lot of teams are going to try to mimic that, okay? They are going to try to load the box against us to stop Saquon Barkley, and they should. If you are a smart defensive coordinator, that is what you're going to do. But we need to take advantage of loaded boxes. Get it to A.J. Brown, a guy we know can go for 6 anytime he touches the football through the air. Get it to Smitty, a guy that is a route running technician. You have Dallas Goedert coming back, one of your favorite targets if you're Jalen Hurts, and one of the most explosive tight ends in football when he's healthy, okay? We have a stable of young receivers that I believe are going to get their opportunity to shine. And I understand that A.J. Dillon and Will Shipley are coming in to alleviate Saquon Barkley's touch carry load, but we are still going to have to be better at throwing the football if we want to make another run at it because you have to continually evolve in the NFL. Excuse me. So all in all, guys, the end of the day, you have to use the best receiving tandem in the NFC and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. You have to use these young guys. You got to give Saquon a break. And while I still expect Saquon to be in that 15 to 1,600 range, I would love to see us in the middle of the pack when it comes to throwing the football, because 29th is not going to get it done year in and year out. Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. Be sure to hit a like, subscribe, and comment your squads, or if you agree or disagree with me. If you watch the playback, like, comment, and subscribe. We got my man Philly all the way from California. What is happening, my man? Go Birds. Appreciate you for coming out tonight. Don't let Mike talk about Ringo like he's actually a believer, says Marshall. Marshall has been on the Ringo train for the entirety of the offseason. Listen, we just want to see Ringo do it. Okay, at the end of the day, nobody's saying Ringo doesn't have the ability. We're saying now he's going to get his opportunity, right? He's got to make good on it. He's got to make good on that opportunity and get after it. But back to the air game. Yeah, it's guys, there were many football games where we didn't need the passing attack. That I do not think that is going to be the case in 2025. I truly believe that NFL squads and defensive coordinators are going to bring stacked boxes to our games, specifically the Rams, specifically the Chiefs in week 2. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have done an incredible job the last 3 seasons limiting our passing game. So those are going to be some areas we are going to have to clean up if we want to go back to back, because teams have to adapt and overcome in the NFL. It doesn't work like it used to, where you can just do one thing for a really long time. You got to adapt and overcome. And that's another point that I like to bring up, okay? And it's kind of a point that we're kind of going to end on here towards the end of the show. How do the Eagles, okay, the Philadelphia team that just hit the pinnacle of the sport, how do they deal with success? The pressure of success, guys, is sometimes even heavier than the weight of defeat, okay? At the end of the day, you did everything you needed to do to reach the pinnacle of the sport, right? You did. You had an incredible run game. Jalen Hurts played incredible in the playoffs. You had a top 3 defensive performance in the Super Bowl. The question, what are you going to do next year? Because that was last year, guys. Jalen Hurts said it in his very first press conference. That was 2024. We're in 2025. This is an entirely different Eagles team. How are they going to respond to success? Right? You got guys like Saquon Barkley that have only been in Philly for a year. Now, while he has been in the NFL for a while, and I think he'll be fine, you had 2 rookies on the defense reach the pinnacle of the sport, right? Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, both of these guys were playing college football a year ago, and now they come in, they win a Super Bowl. We had the #1 pass defense in football. How do you get better? You got to go back to work. Will you be lackadaisical in your approach? Or will you be intensely focused on trying to go back? These are questions that this Philadelphia Eagles team are going to have to answer, okay? We are going to have to see if this team, and I truly believe that this is a roster that is built to go back to the Super Bowl, is one of the 4 rosters, in my opinion, that's built to win a Super Bowl right now, with that being the Philadelphia Eagles, the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Buffalo Bills. And the Lions are on a fringe, in my opinion, if they can stay healthy. But those are the 4 rosters right now that are assembled and ready to compete for Super Bowls. This Eagles team's window is open now. The biggest question that this Philadelphia Eagles group, this 2025 group, is going to have to answer, guys, the biggest question, how do you respond to success? It's one that I'm excited for, and I think we're going to get to see that in week 1 versus the Cowboys. You got a divisional rival coming in on banner night, right? You're on top of the world. Everyone's telling you how great you are. But I really think that this culture in Philadelphia, from everything I've been seeing from Twitter, TikTok, and we follow official people on Twitter, right? Elliot Parks, those kind of guys, people that are close to practice, says that this Eagles team doesn't even think about 2024. They've all come in, they're ready to go to work and prepare for 2025. And I think that says a lot about the culture that's been created in Philadelphia. And you guys got to remember, not a calendar year ago, this man right here was under scrutiny. Everybody in Philadelphia wanted him out. They wanted him fired after Tampa Bay. They said he's never going to win a Super Bowl in Philadelphia, not with the way he's acting, blah, 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 blah. There's the image, guys. He's holding the Lombardi Trophy. This is a guy that has truly, him and Howie Roseman have built a culture in Philadelphia that I believe has a very, very wide open Super Bowl window. I'm interested to see what you guys think. Drop your comments. Let me know if you think this Philadelphia Eagles team truly is built to go back to back. It's the chat that I'm interested in. I'm interested to see what you guys think. Also, thank you for all the love on the new graphics. My girl worked very hard on them and they look incredible. Very happy for it. Listen, at the end of the day, is this Philadelphia team going to answer the bell? Can the pass defense get better? Can the run defense improve? These are all the questions that we're going to get answers to in the coming weeks, guys. We're going to continue to monitor it. Obviously, this is the place to get your Eagles and NFL information, Sports with Sunshine. I appreciate you guys for coming on tonight. I want to say a quick shout out to our sponsors, the Mogul brand, as well as the Diamond Collection. Thank you to the Sports Lounge Media for sponsoring or for powering Sports with Sunshine and making it what it is. You guys have been absolutely incredible tonight. Quick little episode. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming out, man. Join me on Friday at 7 p.m. We're going to be doing a little bit of a debate show. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I want the chat engaged. But to everyone that came out tonight, thank you so much. You're absolutely incredible, and I hope you have an incredible rest of your night. To the rest of my Eagles fans, it's always go Birds, and I will see you this coming Friday.